And one.
Welcome to the Game Case, a show for, well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft. The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW. Here's your host, Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 41 of the Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. This week we're going to talk a little bit about our week in Blizzard gaming, cover some Blizzard news, and then we're going to talk about making some gold in World of Warcraft, because tonight I have the honor and the pleasure of being joined by one of the hosts of the best gold making podcast out there, Your Wow Money, Mr. Joe Brums. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing well, sir. It is late for me, but I don't care. I'm not going to work tomorrow.
Woohoo! That is awesome. Do you normally have Fridays off? Or
No.
did you take a
Normally-
vacation day to do this?
I took a vacation day because I knew that I was going to be up to about midnight.
Oh, look
Yes.
at this. Well, thank you.
Not a problem. Not a
Thank you,
problem.
my friend. I have Thursday nights is the night that I get to stay up till 6 a.m. Friday morning and then grab a little nap, and then I'm back at work from home, usually about 9 a.m. So,
Thanks.
yeah, this is a lot of fun for me. But of course, thank you for taking some time out of your extremely full schedule. Thank you for taking the day off. That's awesome. How was your week of life, Joe?
Well, I deal with idiots pretty much on a daily basis now. So when I come home, when I come to the apartment, I get to de-stress and just kill stuff in games. So yeah, that's what I get to do, and I look forward to doing that there daily. So
Nice.
when I say I deal with idiots, I mean the boss is a complete idiot, and one of the people that I work with that is like too over conscientious of everything that he does.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, those are
Yeah,
never fun.
It's just it's ugly. It's ugly. Basically, kids don't work in a factory. It's horrible, horrible, horrible.
Oh, and I will follow that up with don't work for sand people. It's not fun. Star Wars got it right. They're terrible and horrible and scary.
Yes.
I work at a sand mine, so I get to call them the sand people. But yeah, same thing.
Nice.
I wonder, honestly, if some of these people have someone else tying their shoes when they leave their house in the morning. It's incredible the amount of idiocy out there in the world. But we are going to set our salt shakers aside. And Joe, what have you been doing this week in gaming? You been playing any games? Talking about de-stressing. Sounds like you need it.
That's why I've been playing Diablo, and I've reached Paragon 400 and something. So, yeah, I've been doing the seasonals basically. I have not been playing hardcore because if you play hardcore and you die, you lose that character. And I don't feel like losing characters. No.
Oh,
No.
that would not be a relaxing thing to
No.
do.
Instead, today I was going through all my inventory there within my stash, and I had to delete a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Just, oh my God, it's unbelievable of all the multiples of stuff. And you try to get the right type of ancient gear, and you don't get it. It's bad. It's bad.
Mm.
But
No.
I'm up to Torment 10.
Wow.
Which is good. And I'm trying to see how far I can go within Torment 10 solo.
wow.
So yeah,
That's impressive.
it's pretty good, especially for the first time going through Diablo.
Wow.
So yeah,
Now I know over on Your Wow Money, I know you and Dead Greed have been going back and forth about who has more gold. and you're up. You got a pretty nice little stack of gold over in Diablo. You don't just know about making money in WoW. You're making it over in Diablo. So what could you share with us what you shared with me earlier about how much gold you're sitting on in Diablo 3 right now?
Okay, right now I'm not sure where Dead Greed's at there in his gold making, but right now I'm sitting over 1 billion. over $1 billion gold. But here's the thing: if you do empowered rifts in Diablo,
Okay.
you're going to lose gold. Lots and lots and lots of gold.
Oh wow.
Yes. So that
Yeah, that's what in one of your last shows Dead Greed was talking about. He went through like over 1 billion gold in was it an afternoon or was it a week?
and
It was
basically
quick.
Yeah, it was like an afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, because he's doing like was it tier 50, in between tier 50 and tier 60, with greater rifts, and that costs millions of
Ooh.
gold. So yeah, you're gonna lose all that gold.
Squinty,
So-
you need to listen to these guys. You need to listen to the money gods. They know what they're doing. Sitting on billion. No, is there even a is there like a gold cap in Diablo 3? Or is it just whatever?
I'm not too sure about that. So
If there is, it's over 1 billion.
yes, if there is, it's over 1 billion gold.
Nice. Well, I got to do a little HOTS this week. I got to do a little raiding. My bacon and kegs stuff, of course. I will admit. So I raid Saturdays and Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern with bacon and kegs. Sunday I slept right the heck through raid.
Oh no!
I could not. I don't get a lot of sleep as it is, and sometimes I just can't do it. So, guys, I'm sorry I wasn't there. Luckily, they were just running some normals, so I know they made it through without me. Rubber Chicken Coalition, we had a blast this week, guys. Way to go. We got down 2 more bosses, 9 to 13 heroic. Now for a 1 night a week casual normal rating team is pretty darn good. I'm really proud of you guys and where we are at right now. Other than that, little Call of Duty. That has been my relaxation lately. Everybody talks about the Call of Duty rage, but for some reason Call of Duty relaxes me. Like,
What? I'm gonna have to bring something up when we do the Blizzard news, because something's
Okay.
coming. Something's coming back since you said Call of Duty.
oh yes, I'm so glad you remembered that, because that is a not insignificant piece of news. Which,
It's not.
since we're talking about news, why don't we just jump on in there and talk about a little bit of news? And now for news from all
Let's
things.
do it. Okay.
So, not much WoW news out.
No.
The one thing that I would like to mention at the top of the news segment here is, guys, guess what? Everybody's doing it, and I am nothing if not weak under peer pressure. So, the Game Case show now has a Discord. That's right. If you would like to talk to me, if you would like to chat to me, if you would like to chat or talk or whatever, send me funny poop gifts, because I like those, at any time, day or night. The Game Case now has a Discord. It is bit.ly/Cuddles Discord. We got a couple chat channels in there. We got a bunch of voice channels. If you're coming out for any of my streams, if you're here for the show, feel free to jump in the Discord, jump in one of the chat channels, and talk amongst yourselves as you're talking in the chat here in the Twitch stream. So it's just another way for us to get in touch, another way for us to talk and hang out, and another bit of kind of non-huge Blizzard news before Joe bursts out with what he's got. There is a video out there right now, guys. I know a lot of folks that listen are members of Convert to Raid or have heard of Convert to Raid, the podcast. And something that happened here recently that was very sad was Coltrane left. And, we haven't seen a lot out of Colt lately. We got to see him in the Ratchet and Clank, the latest Ratchet and Clank trailer. He was the movie guy voice in that. And, of course, Convert to Raid the show has got their ensemble cast. And they're doing great. But Colt has been absent until now, my friends. There is now a video out of Colt calming down Brutal. Now, if you don't know Brutal, he's a WoW streamer that sometimes gets a little animated, shall we say?
Okay.
So he's doing a time-walking dungeon, and he's on the last boss, the one with the hourglass. Is it Nosdormu?
Nosdormu. Oh boy.
And it's sad. I remember that from the Hearthstone card, not from the dungeon, because I wasn't around for Cata Dungeons. But in this video, Colt talks Brutal off the ledge. So if that sounds like something that you'd like to listen to, there will be a link in the show notes for those listening on the download. For those in the chat room, there's a link in the chat room. No, Joe, you mentioned there's a little bit of news that I didn't put in here. And what might that be? Is there something going on?
Closed beta for Overwatch comes February 9th.
What?
Oh boy. And I know I get to say it again for the Your Wow Money podcast because I know Lady Hava is going to go off the hook on this. I know she will. I know she will. But I did not get into the beta yet. Have you?
I was lucky enough to get into the Legion Alpha. However, and the Overwatch beta weekend. But I have not officially been. And here's the one thing that really, like, all the people that are in the Overwatch beta, like, you guys are great. You're awesome. I have a friend. He's the guy that brought me into World of Warcraft. He has not opened his Battle.net launcher in probably 8 months. And I kept on talking about Overwatch and talking like, dude, you got to see this. This is awesome. He calls me up one day. He's like, hey, man, I got this email. It says that I'm in this beta for this game called Overwatch. Is that the game you keep on talking? I'm like, are you kidding? And he hasn't even played it. He played it with me on the weekend. When we got in the week, I was like, oh, you friggle.
Well, that's the thing. If you get an email, make sure that it's from Blizzard. Because there are some scammers out there that will send out emails saying, you got the beta key, boom, and you find out that your account's been hacked.
Ooh.
So that can happen.
Yeah.
So make sure that your account's been, or that email's from Blizzard, or go to your account on Battle.net, because that will get you into the download in itself.
Yep.
So February 9th, if you didn't get the beta, go look there.
Yes, and
Go look there, because I'm going to be looking there.
oh, I know. Barf had a great point in the chat. There aren't keys. It's no keys, guys. And so in that announcement, they said that they're going to be sending out more invites, that they want to bring more people in.
Right.
However, what they didn't say is when. So keep your eye out on Twitter. I'm sure as soon as invites start going out, it'll blow up and we'll all know, as well as I'm sure Blizzard will let us know that more beta invites have been out. But it could be the 9th. It could be tonight. It could be the 28th. We don't know just yet. But there will be more people let in, and I know that Joe and I will be one of them because, darn it, we should be.
Okay, they won't send out invites before the 9th, because the 9th, they'll be opening up the closed beta on the 9th in itself. So
Okay.
look for, at the very least on the 9th, don't expect it there. I would think probably 2 weeks after the 9th. So probably they usually send that stuff out on Tuesdays because that's Blizzard's way of doing things.
It's when they do things.
Yes. So that's when I would expect it.
Right on.
But still, it wouldn't be a bad idea to check it on the 9th itself.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't, or, now, and then every 5 minutes from now, leading up to the 9th, like, I probably will.
Yes.
I don't have it up in the other window hitting refresh.
No.
So, okay, so outside of Overwatch, outside of me having a Discord and Colt being awesome, we have Li Ming out in Heroes of the Storm. Have you gotten a chance to play her? I know you hots it up.
I have not played Heroes of the Storm there over the past week, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, I was going to say I haven't seen you in there in a while, but I know you do play, so I figured I just missed it.
But I think she's going to be an interesting character in itself because you already have a fire mage, you already have a frost mage, you gotta have an arcane, and you went Diablo for the arcane mage.
Yep.
So she's going to be a very interesting character to check out. And I think she's up on the free I can't think now.
The free rotation?
Yeah, she's I think she's up on the free rotation this week, I think.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure if she is or not. I saw that on the Blizzard Watch blog post.
She is not.
Right, she's not, but she should be up there soon.
Yep. We got Artanis, Asmodean. Guys, if you want to know who that is, go load up Heroes. But Li Ming does look really, really cool. Lord of the Storm and Stormcast, I got to listen to both of those shows this last week talking about her. And it seems like, from people that actually know how to play Heroes, it sounds like she's going to be really cool. If you want to learn more about that, go listen to those guys. They're both awesome. Also, one last little bit of news. Hearthstone has gotten some awesome changes. I will say, as a new player, I am super excited. They're going to be retiring some of the old stuff, and you'll still be able to play it in a mode called Wild, but then they're going to have a standard mode. And I know there's been a lot of QQ, a lot of salt from people out there about them retiring cards out of paid for areas or retiring the expansions that are already out. But I mean, guys, let's be honest here. Hearthstone, I know a lot of people like Hearthstone because it's not Magic and it's different, but you cannot get a game that gets to where it has, 1,000 possible cards out there or 3,000. And if they don't put a system in, they don't start retiring cards, it's going to get insurmountable. And I can tell you right now, as a newer player within the last 2 months, it feels daunting for me right now. So this change was, I would say, is much needed for the longevity of the game.
And I would say that it's regrettable that they're doing this. But yeah, I would agree that it's needed. So, did they come out with a list of what cards are going to be retired?
I believe it's goblins versus gnomes are going away. And then BlackRock, maybe. But what we're going to do, and what I'm going to tell you and everyone listening, is go check out my favorite site, Hearthpwn. Go check them out. They have all the news. If you need a podcast to listen to, go check out. Goblins versus Gnomes and Nax will go away.
Yes, Nax. That would make more sense because I think BlackRock came out
after Nax.
Yes.
Yeah. So the oldest stuff is going away.
Right.
Classic will stick around, and then we'll have whatever comes out now in spring will obviously be there as well.
So,
I am.
so my mage deck is pretty much safe then.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. And that's the thing. You can still play in wild. You don't have to always play standard. So it's one of those things that I can remember talking about when Hearthstone, not on a podcast, but just casually with friends, when Hearthstone first started coming out with expansions and adventures, they have to do something. They can't. It can't expand ad infinitum. It's got to be corralled, and they made that change. So if you need a podcast to listen to, Garrett with the Angry Chicken, those guys are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of my other favorites that I've just discovered, Legend of the Innkeeper, super casual, super beginner. If you're looking to get into heroes, go check those guys out. But with that, I think we're going to dive right in to the meat and the potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. Ooh.
And now for the meat and potatoes. Long sounders are long.
It's all right.
Okay, here we go.
Ours are usually pretty short.
Yeah, I need to. I want to revamp them. I want to make them shorter. I keep on saying that every week, and then that whole time thing.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm
now,
always changing stuff.
oh, I know, it's a never-ending journey. So before we dive into gold making and specifically using Trade Skill Master to make gold, why don't you tell us a little bit about Joe Brums and who you are for people that might not know you, which I don't know who that would be.
Okay. In real life, I am a factory worker, which I've already said that, I believe. But in game, you can find me on Airy Peak as Kerosene Kid. That is Alliance side on Convert to Raid. And I'm also on Airy Peak on the Horde side, same name. So I serve both Horde and Alliance. But really, I just make gold within game anymore because there's nothing much else to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and everything else is just going into Diablo or Hearthstone, which is what I dabble in a little bit, or Heroes of the Storm, which me and Slavanis go into about every other Saturday or something.
Yeah.
We try to get you in there sometimes too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We played a little bit last night with Sal, and had a really good time. A lot of
That's
fun.
good. That's good.
Now,
But
now you have your own show.
Yes.
For the 3 people on the planet that play Warcraft and don't know, it is Your WoW Money podcast. Now, tell us a little bit about that. How long has that been around? What do you guys? I'm presuming you talk about Your WoW Money.
yes, we talk about gold within the World of Warcraft. We've been doing this. We're now in our 4th year, which is
Wow.
insane in itself. Just talking about different blog posts right now, anything that we found within Warcraft, hopefully anything that we find coming up in Legion, which that's going to be a very interesting transition, going from Warlords of Draenor, which gold was just basically been given to you, to going to Legion, to now you're going back to earning it and doing things somewhat the hard way, but it's a very interesting way of what's coming. And we've added some people throughout the years there too. I mean, Hava's been on since I want to say almost episode 20, so she's been on for quite a while. Dead Greed's been on for about the past I want to say roughly 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
And Reckles has been on, when he's been on, will be over a year. So we've been kind of going back and forth, kind of doing this and that. We've gotten out of the WoW discussion a little bit, going into more of the Blizzard genre, because that's where a lot of the discussions are going to.
Yeah.
Podcasts, blogs.
As
I mean,
we all have. I started out as a purely World of Warcraft podcast, and I've become a Blizzard gamer and started talking about all. I mean, it's Blizzard is created an amazing ecosystem to keep us all involved in Blizzard games.
Yes. Agreed.
Wow.
Agreed. But that's what we get into.
Right on. Now you guys do have a live show that you do. You do that on Sundays.
Yep, at 1 p.m. That will be on first thing Alpha Geek Radio Channel 2.
No.
That is a solid time for them. We do get on about 12:30-ish on bumblebeenet.com/live, which will handle all of our Twitch stuff. And that's if Twitch is working properly. Not like last week. It did not want to hold there last week for me for some odd reason.
I had the same issues.
Yeah, could be an internet issue, but it is what it is. And really, that's about it, because the turnover is pretty quick. I try to get everything up on iTunes, Stitcher, and just about every other place where you can find podcasts. Say within about 1 to 2 hours
Oh wow.
for recording. So
Right on. Well, that's what you're usually in my ears if I don't catch the live show. You're in my ears on Mondays as I drive into work. And then I sit at work because you've usually said some glorious little nugget about gold making. Like what you said about the dust and that I've been taking advantage of. And
yep.
you'll give me some sort of glorious nugget on the way to work, and then I'm just sitting at work itching to get back home and put whatever it is into practice.
There's always a caveat, because not everybody finds the same thing. So if
Yeah.
it works on one realm, it's not going to work on every realm. So,
Yeah.
or it's not going to work the same way.
Or
So you
or
gotta-
the fact that you're on Airy Peak and some of the things that you mentioned that you're doing, you're already doing, and very well.
if I really, I'll put it to you this way: if I really wanted to do it, I would put stuff up on the auction house and sell it.
Yeah.
Because I know where some of the gold making things are right now. So
Nice. Well, why don't we talk about, for those that don't know a whole lot about gold making and maybe need a little bit of help with it. I know there's some add-ons out there that can really help out, and there's some that are kind of tricks of the trade for you guys that like to stack your gold. So, and one of those is Trade Skill Master. So what is Trade Skill Master? Like, this sounds very complicated.
it sounds very complicated, and the setup is not. It's easy, but it's not easy. It's just
Okay.
really long. But once you get everything set up right, you'll be able to get things posted up in the auction house in under a minute.
Wow.
Yes, in under a minute.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding.
Now, when you're talking about setup being a little bit daunting and involved, what is there somewhere that people can go? Because I'm pretty sure we could probably do a 2.5 hour podcast on setting up TSM, and we're not going to do that, guys. Is there a place, or is it just kind of you stumble around in it and kind of figure it out as you go?
There's a couple different things that you can do. One, you can go up to yourwildmoney.com/vids. Me and Reckles did something on TSM2, which is transferable over to TSM3, which is the live version right now. Or you can go check out YouTube, and I'll give you two sites. One is WTB Gold Wow. WTB Gold Wow, that's Reckles. He's doing a lot of different videos, but look for his Trade Skill Master guides. The bigger, I would say more detailed one, and I don't mean to throw Reckles under the bus here, but Fat Loots. PHATLEWTS up on YouTube, because he's got a good three-part tutorial on Trade Skill Master 3. Anything that's missing can be found in the Trade Skill Master 2 tutorials that he has up there as well. So that is huge.
All right. So there's a couple places that people can go. They don't have to walk this road alone. Setting it up does not have to be as scary as maybe it sounds to some of us, because it sounds very scary.
It does sound very scary. It does.
But let's talk about, okay, so let's to spare ourselves and our audience from 2.5 hours of how to set up TSM. Let's presume that someone has TSM set up for themselves. They've gone through they've taken the time. They've gone to Your Wow Money. They've gone to WTB Gold Wow, and they've got it set up. What does it do now? Like, I set all this stuff up. What am I gonna do with it? How does it work?
Okay, so how this works is, the first thing that you got to do is you got to set your TSM guide up. So let me get into WoW.
Okay.
And I will show you a couple things here. So let's do that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go into my chat bar right here and say /TSM. And right there is Trade Skill Master. Now, I'm not going to get into groups here because there are a couple different ways to get in, or to set up groups. Is you can go through your whole professions. If you have Trade Skill Master loaded, a question will come up: is do you want to set your profession into a group? And then you click the yes, and then your profession will be in a group. Here's an example of that. All my professions are right here in these different groups. Okay. Now, once you have all your stuff in those different groups, for instance, here's all my transmogs. Okay. I got quite a list.
No, did you set up the transmog? Is that something, or is that just something that it pulls low-level gear?
No. Now, transmogs are more a separate group that I had set up using Fat Loot's guide. Okay. So go check out his video. He will show you how to set up this group. But once you have it set up, you'll have a list. Whatever's in your bags, greens, blues, some purples, like that lightning crown there, and anything that you can put in there that is good for transmogs, you'll be able to put into that group.
Okay.
And
now one of the things, not to totally veer out of the TSM, but one of the things that I've always heard about transmog gear is you can do really well with transmog gear by rolling a tune over on an RP server.
And you can.
And selling transmog there. Is that a thing, or am I crazy here? Or is it about the same? Like, is it just not worth the effort?
I think that's where some of the price difference is.
Okay.
So, and really, having a transmog piece really depends on the person there too, because there was a point in time in Mr. Pandaria where transmogs were huge and people were just buying them up,
Yeah.
to where now it's transmogs are not huge right now because of all the garrison crates and all of that stuff. But yeah, but transmogs will come back in some form once the transmog closet comes into play here in a later patch. But one other thing that I want to show is not in my operations, but once I have my group set up, my transmogs are set up, okay? That's my group management. Right there, I got all my names, whatever. Once my group's set up, I set an operation to it. Okay? So therefore, I can go in and sell all this different stuff.
Okay.
So now, another good thing here is if you go to the main page, which is where I clicked on right here, it says TSM features. You go to macro setup.
Okay.
Right here is your scroll wheel. You want that scroll wheel macro, definitely.
Okay.
And you can see where I have mine set, up, down, control, and you can have all of these check marked. You can have whatever you want check marked. Since this is a bank tune, I only want anything that's posting. And really, if I wanted to buy out of Trade Skill Master, I would have anything that's buying.
Okay.
And the great thing about Trade Skill Master is you click that button right here. Once you have all your boxes check marked, you click that button right there. It says create macro and bind scroll wheel. It will create the macro for you. You don't have to type anything out. It's just good that way.
So, and then it looks like you can post and cancel, and you just do all sorts of stuff instead of clicking around. You're just using your scroll wheel.
Exactly.
That is super helpful.
It is so awesome. And I get to show you how this works. Okay, so now if you have Trade Skill Master all nice and set up, you click on your auctioneer, and then you click on auctioning. Okay. And right there, everything that's highlighted is everything that you're going to do a post scan on.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a post scan. That's going to scan my bags for everything that's in the auction house. Now, I do have preset prices for which, if you see that cheapest auction below minimum price,
Okay.
that means that item will not post in the auction house because it's going below a limit.
Okay, so you set a limit for what you're willing to sell it for, and then it that's awesome. It keeps you from posting it below that limit. So like, if it costs you 5 gold and mats to make something, and you wanted to make 10, if you wanted to list it for 10 gold and nothing less, it's gonna stop you and say, somebody's selling it for 8 gold. You don't want to post that right now.
Okay. How I really set this up, and like I said, go check out YouTube. I set this up using the DB market that they have there in Trade Skill Master.
Okay.
Okay. So once you have that set up in that certain way, then you're going to be able to do a post scan like this. Like right now, it's up to 74 of 123 different posts that it can do. It will go through that list and say, we're going to post this one, this one, this one, and this one, but not that one because it's at the minimum or below the low price. It's below the floor, is what I
Okay.
like to call it.
Okay, that
Ceiling,
makes sense. It's really neat.
the ceiling, that's about the highest price that you want to go, and you can set that basically anywhere you want to within a trade skill master. The floor is something that you don't want to go under.
Okay.
Now here's the cool thing. Now I have control and my scroll wheel. You're gonna watch just all that stuff just go right into the auction house.
What?
See, right now my scroll wheel is done posting. It's going to confirm everything that I've posted. It's going to put it on the auction house, and you watch those bags. Those bags, all those items in those bags, just going to go gone. Just give it a couple seconds.
I almost don't believe this is gonna happen. Like I don't believe what I'm seeing. Whoa.
Gone.
Okay, that's pretty nuts.
Everything that's under that minimum price, what you see there, is staying right in the bags. Because that's below the minimum price.
Wow.
Okay. Now you can also scan within game there too. Okay. Now, if I do scan in game, I just run a full scan.
Yeah.
But there's another cool thing. If you have Trade Skill Master and say you got it off a curse,
Okay.
go to tradeskillmaster.com. And there you'll have to create a login, whatever. It's all free. Sign up for stuff. It's all free. You should get the desktop app.
Okay. And what does the desktop app do?
The desktop app, once you have that set up, will scan all of your auction houses for you without logging into game.
Wow.
It's that simple.
Wow. I need this. Like, if for nothing else, I need that. Like, that's insane because I run Auctioneer right now. And I think it takes about 15 minutes to do a full scan of Airy Peak's auction house right now.
Yeah.
And that's 15 minutes out of my game time.
And that scan, that desktop app scan, it will scan all my auction houses in, say, not even half the time.
Wow. So
Maybe the time. So yeah.
No, let me ask you this. Is it actually scanning the auction house, or is it pulling data from someone that scanned the auction house? Do you know how that back end of that works?
Now, this is why we had an interview with Sapu. Okay. What's really going on here is they are pulling information off of the WoW servers.
Okay.
Okay. Because what they're doing is, once they pull that information, which that happens, I think he said once every 60 seconds, or yeah, I think once every minute or a couple minutes. Memory sometimes is a bad thing. But once he does that, then what happens is all that information goes right into their servers. And then once it goes into their servers, you scan the auction house using your own desktop app, and then all of a sudden all of that information is updated to your PC.
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
That's pretty darn snazzy.
Now there's another thing that's pretty cool with that desktop app too. If you want to take a look at, say, some of your past purchases or some of your past transactions. You can go into the desktop app and say, okay, I want a PDF of this. I want a PDF of that. And it will come up as a document, or yeah, it'll come up as a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Not as a document, as a spreadsheet of here is what this character did on this day.
It builds the spreadsheet
Yes.
that, like, I've been. All right. All right. That's good to
Yes,
know.
it builds a spreadsheet. It does half the work for you.
Wow. And it keeps track of all of it. No,
Yes, it does.
No, let me ask you about and this is, I very specifically have stayed away from TSM knowing that we were going to talk about it. So I could ask you probably stupid questions. But I wanted to ask these for the other folks out there that don't know anything about it as well. So in that, when you showed it to us and you talked about the groups, and obviously we had the videos on how to set those up, but so it showed under groups for your profession, it showed crafting, and I think was it crafting and mats are the two like subcategories.
Yes.
So
There is
what do
crafting.
those two do, and how does that? How does this help me? Like that's been my question about it. Like I know that it does stuff with my skills, but I didn't know what or how.
Okay. Now, Trade Skill Master is just a huge add-on.
Okay.
So, if you have Trade Skill Master as a whole, the way that Trade Skill Master is broken up, you can have Trade Skill Master for all of your crafters. You'll still have like you'll have to run the base Trade Skill Master program, but then you'll have Trade Skill Master crafting. In fact, let me get up into my add-ons and scroll down here. You have Trade Skill Master crafting, destroying, and mailing for all of your main tunes
Okay.
and all of your alts. Where the rest of Trade Skill Master comes in, it goes in for your bank tune.
Okay.
So where the groups come into play is you can use groups to buy materials, which I don't use the shopping tab. I use Auctionator for that. Because
Okay.
it's more of a I want this only type
Okay.
deal for me. But you can do that if you want to. That's one way that you use groups. Groups are also used for mailing,
Okay.
and groups are also used for selling.
So it sounds like.
So-
Let me ask you this. It sounds like I have my newest tune, my rogue, Sneaky Cuddle,
Mhm.
is a engineer. So he needs ore. So he can do his daily cooldowns. So he's getting
Right.
the ore out of my two other 100s out of their garrison mine. So it sounds like TSM could make it so that I'm not having to go in and like type in his email or type in his name and then move this up. Like I could actually make TSM do this.
Yes.
I'd still have to go to a mailbox, I'm presuming, but then I just press buttons
Well, yeah,
and
you
things
still have
happen.
mailbox, but yeah, what you do in your TSM settings, you go into mail. Hang on a second.
And then I presumably at the same time as he's checking his mail, he could be mailing the other tunes what they need. Like I could have this wonderful sharing, loving kumbaya circle of tunes mailing each other.
Yeah, what you do is you go into operations, you go into mailing,
Okay.
and what you do is you have a target player, which should be your bank tune,
Okay.
because that's where you want everything mailed to your bank tune,
Okay.
because that's your main selling point. And then here, let me show you this, how I got this set up here. So what you have is up in the operations tab, click on mailing, and yeah, you want to set your operations name, but whatever. Once you do that, you set your target player and you have all your keep quantity, your maximum quantity, if you want to set that, and if you want to restock. Me, I want to keep nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's why you see keep quantity at 0. The maximum quantity, I don't even set that
Okay.
because I want to see everything sent off to my bank tune, and I want to see everything go off to the auction house.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there is a little point here, and I think that they were trying to work on something. You can set up different operations, and I think that's how you can split up your bank tunes if you have different bank tunes,
Okay.
but I'm not trustworthy on that just yet.
Okay.
So right now, I think you can only do one bank tune per account. That's just the way it is right now. Because what TradeScale Master is thinking is people are only on one realm, which is not the case. People are on multiple realms, and that's something that is, I think, what is coming. That's within our conversation with Sapu a couple of shows ago.
Nice.
So
Now, let me ask you this.
okay.
I've listened to what you have said. I've watched this video. I went and checked out the videos about setting it up. I'm ready to go download it. And I go to Curse, and I see Trade Skill Master, and I see that there's like 48 different Trade Skill Masters. I know that's a little bit of hyperbole, but there is, like you said, there is a lot of add-ons.
A lot to it.
Starting out, I need to get it set up. What would you recommend? Like, what do I need to download? Step 1.
Okay, well, first thing, you need the base program, Trade Skill Master. Okay.
Okay.
And what you need to do is once you go to Curse, is you need to know what professions you have.
Presumably,
Okay.
hopefully you know this,
Hopefully
folks.
You know this.
If you don't, good luck.
Essentially, what you need is a plan of attack. Okay. So you don't want to get the whole Trade Skill Master thing, and say if you have like Postal or some other mailing app, you might not want to get Trade Skill Master mailing.
Okay.
It is a good idea to get Trade Skill Master mailing, but hey. But let's say if you don't have a tailor, or actually if you have crafting, you're obviously going to need crafting. That's number 2 on the list. They did take out WoW Auction, so if that's still up, don't download it. That's no longer the case. Anything else depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
Like, see, I have crafting, destroying, mainly because I have herbalism, which means I mill herbs,
Yep.
and I have enchanting, so which means I'm destroying stuff. And I have accounting, because I like to keep track of what I'm actually doing. Am I making more gold this month, or am I losing gold this month? So hey, that's what I like to do. So that's it. It really depends what you want to do.
Yeah. No, no, you touched on something there to kind of step away from a little bit from Trade Skill Master and to just, since I have you here, to pick your brain momentarily about just making gold in general. You said something that I would count as a little bit important. You mentioned that you have to go into Trade Skill Master with a plan. Now, would you say that's true of gold making in general? That it's best to go at it with a plan and not go out and gather some mats and hope that they sell and clicky the buttons in your garrison and hopey that you end up with enough gold? I mean, what does gold making need to be something that involves a plan?
Gold making is something that would involve some sort of an idea of what you want to do. So a plan, I wouldn't go so far as to say that there has to be a plan, but is maybe a little like a level lower than that. So you
Okay.
still have to have an idea, mainly because you have to be flexible. Okay. Because prices are just going to be all over the place.
Yep.
So it really depends what you put in. So if you're going out, say, farming mats, you got to be able to see what mats are selling and what mats are not selling. So if there are good mats up on the auction house, let's say that are over a gold per,
Yeah.
then those would be good to sell. If there are
Okay.
some mats that are like under 50 silver, and I'm just throwing out numbers here,
Yeah.
then that might not be a good thing to sell. It just
What's what-
depends on the market's at.
I know I had like my very beginner attempts at making gold, Drainic dust in the trading post. I used to trade my garrison resources for it. And it was, I mean, it was 3, 4. I think I even saw it at 5 gold a piece at some point, and now it's down to like 1 gold 36. It's dropped way down.
That is atypical for an expiring expansion.
Really?
What happens is everybody's getting tired. We want more content. So people are basically leaving the game or taking a break from the game for a while. And essentially the market does take a dip towards the end of an expansion because there are some other things going on. So people are not leveling up their gear. They're mainly going through raids and they don't need this, that, or the other thing.
Okay.
So it's just that the expansion is just winding down.
Okay. Then that makes sense.
I mean, you will still see spikes from people that are doing the garrison shuffle,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. Because if it's dust day, guess what? Dust prices are going to be up. If it's ore day, then the ore prices are going to be up, and everything else will be down. So this is, once again, do your research and watch to see what's going on in you. Everybody's garrison is going to be different, but the majority is going to be dust or cloth or whatever mat.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about the lobby stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like gold making, like not even 101. This is like the pamphlet that you pass out to get people interested in the class. So I got one more thing that I really wanted to ask you, and then we'll move on because I know it's getting late for everybody. But I am, and we've talked about this before, kind of in Discord, but I wanted to bring this out into a public conversation. I am, for those that don't know, and if you've been listening to my show where I'm 41 episodes, you should know this by now. I just started playing WoW in Warlords. I just passed my 1 year WoW anniversary. I'm creeping. I know. I am creeping up on. We're about 20 days ish out from my 1 year with convert to raid, and so I'm new. I didn't even come about at the beginning of WoD. I came in like a couple months or a month in. So the only thing that I know is the garrison is gold making is going to my garrison table and right clicking because I have master plan and then hitting collect all. And oh, look, I got 4,000 gold today. That's going to change in Legion. If there are any new players like me or anybody coming into Legion that maybe finds this old episode because it says gold making on it, what would you suggest going into? What can I do maybe to practice? Or what should I get familiar with? And I know that's a tough question because we're still in alpha. There's not a whole lot out there. But I mean, should I focus on actually working my profession? Should I get used to the idea of gathering? Because you guys went through some great stuff on mining and herbing in the last episode that I caught of yours.
Yep, yeah, that's what we did there last week, was mining and herbing, and that's just the collection side. The crafting side is going to be huge depending upon how many people within that realm went raiding. If, say, the majority of people did not go raid, they're going to be looking for gear. And they're going to be willing to pay through the nose to get that gear. Now, if they did go raid, and really depends if they are all maxed out on their gear, whether it's heroic, mythic, whatever.
Yeah.
They could still want some later gear just later on within the expansion. So, having the right professions would be huge.
So
it goes back to what Dead Greed said. And I know that jewelry is going to be huge in Legion. And so will be enchanting. That will be huge coming in to Legion, because people, even though we know that the glyphs are going away, they're going to be gone.
Yep.
There's a good replacement coming in for them.
Okay. So they there's going to be a good opportunity to make gold there. You mentioned crafting. Now, for example, I have a leather worker, and I've stopped crafting leather gear because I can't give it away. It's not worth my time. Now, you're thinking it may be worth my time? And it may be some of the other folks that can go out there and craft some gear, maybe 6 of 6, fully crafted. Hold on to that till pre-patch?
Wait for the closet to come out.
Okay.
Wait for the transmog closet to come out, and wait for pre-patch.
Okay.
Even though Root's saying give it away now.
But maybe, okay, so in preparation for that, keep on doing your daily cooldowns, keep on collecting mats, prepare yourself. Don't sit back on your heels and totally cool it if you're concerned about making gold.
Keep yourself scheduled.
Okay.
There's going to be quite a while for Legion.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of mats, I would say don't bother. If you don't have a lot of mats, get on your dailies. and do them. It really depends where you're at and how comfortable you are within your crafting at this point in time.
Okay. Okay.
So if that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Chat room, let me give you guys a chance real quick. Do you guys have any questions for the Gold Master here before we jump into shoutouts? Any questions at all? So if I have a stack of 200 burnished leather, I should probably like go ahead and make some more before Legion. So I think that's about all I have right now.
I would probably just, if you want to do it, I would just make another stack of 200 and just call it until it is time to make stuff.
Okay, so there's no reason to stack a
Right.
bag of 22 with burnished leather.
Right,
Okay.
right. And another thing too is if you're on the stash of bags, Hexweave, keep making them.
Okay.
You might want to store them for now, but keep making them. Because once people come back and check out Legion, they're going to be calling for bag space like a mofo.
Yep. And then new tunes and alts and new players and we got it. There's one thing that we haven't mentioned, and I don't know how it's gonna affect gold making, but we got the Warcraft movie coming out just ahead of or just behind Legion. We can expect to see a lot of new and or really returned players.
Legion is summer. The movie comes out, I want to say March. No,
June, I believe.
June.
Yep.
June. Okay. So, June, and that means Blizzard's going to be on a very strict timeline.
Yep.
People will want to play the game, which means the pre-patch should be out not long after the movie releases.
Oh yeah, they're not going to leave us sitting shiva
They can't afford to do that.
while the movie goes out of theaters because there's going to be hype.
Yes.
So we got 2 questions, and then we'll run into shout outs. 3 questions.
3.
Joe, what did you think about the Airy Peak enchanting market the last few weeks? It seems like many enchants are frequently listed for less than the crafting cost, even considering Garrison temporal crystals. Any advice for how to respond to this sort of thing? Or is finding a new market for now my best bet? And that is from Bartholomew.
Really, and really, we did touch on this before.
Yeah.
It's like what I said, is that the markets are dropping off.
Yeah.
So, and this is really foreseeable. So, the enchanting market, yeah, it's kind of gonna go away until Legion. So I'd say right now, drop it. And I would suggest looking into pets. Really, because if anybody is wasting time in World of Warcraft, and I shouldn't say wasting time.
It's the Wowkimon people.
Oh, yes. But it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is. And people are pet battling. So if you have some pets, and if you're not in the pet battling, or if you want to go farm some pets, then go sell pets on the auction house. Make sure that they're cageable. That's the key here. Make sure that they're cageable. Now keep in mind, some pets are not worth it. Some pets are. You have to look at what is more in demand.
Okay. Now Tiber has a question. Joe, did I understand you correctly that TSM does not work well with multiple servers?
TSM does work well with multiple servers. Okay, I do want to be clear with that. It's just that if you want to send stuff to your banker, that's something that is not
Handled.
working right. It's not handling that well.
Okay.
But it really depends on where your main tunes are. So that's where you want to set your mailing. That's where you want to set your main thesis or your main stuff with TSM. Now, of course, you can use TSM for any other tune that you have on other realms. So it does work well on other realms. It's just the mailing feature for the bank tunes is what's at issue here.
All right. So yeah, just that mailing timer. So
Yep.
yeah,
That's just it.
use away, my friend.
Indeed.
And then I got one last one, Erlina. If you only, and this is a good one. I really like this. If you only have one character on a realm, what professions would be the best to pick up?
It really depends on what professions are needed on that realm.
Ooh.
So let's
How
say-
would one define that?
Exactly, because every single realm is different, and that's where an individual there is like an investigation of a realm is really yeah, something like that. You do have to look around to see what is really needed. Are blacksmiths needed? Are tailors needed? Once again, bags.
Now, would this be as simple as going to that realm's auction house and looking and seeing pricing on things, or is it? I'm thinking it would be a little bit more complicated than that.
Let me give you a website. And let me
Ooh.
see if I can type it here in the chat room. I don't know if you're.
Oh,
Let me do
say
that.
hi first. Just type
Okay,
hi,
yeah.
and I'll OP you.
I'll type in hi. Okay.
There you go.
So
There you go, now you can.
check out the under.
Somebody called it.
Yep, the underminejournal.com. Yes, Bartholomew got it. Not WoW Auction. WoW Auction. Well, WoW Auction's good. Okay. But they don't give pets and they don't give a real timely interface with World of Warcraft. Okay.
It's what Undermine Journal. That's something that I've been familiar with, and almost since I started playing. It's funny. I actually rolled my very first tune on Undermine. That's my very first in Undermine, which by the way is a very dead realm right now. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's the underminejournal.com. That is the best WoW gold making website out there right now. Second right now is really kind of a tie between WoW Auction and Trade Skill Master, because Trade Skill Master is trying to set up the same thing as what the Undermine Journal is doing right now.
Oh,
So a little bit. There's a lot of differences between the two, but I think that Trade Skill Master is going to try to do something as to what the Undermine Journal is doing right now.
Okay. No, I will say, I will say as a word of anecdotal advice for everyone, check the Undermine Journal. Check it before you go thinking you're going to go make some gold on something. I'm sitting on 3 Hydral Bear Cubs right now that somebody was very persistent and listed on the auction house for like 8K gold repeatedly, so that when my auctioneer scanned, it told me that was the price for them. It's seen like, I think I have my floor set at 23, I think. So it has to see 23 of something before it'll give me an average price. And yeah, Hydral Bear Cubs only worth about 2,500. I paid 8K a piece for 3. and they're just sitting in. Joe gave me some very good advice on when to offload them. I'm not going to talk about it because I want to get rid of them, and I will be selling them for $8K if anyone wants them.
Yep.
But yeah, and always he forgot to mention a site that Barf pointed out, which is one of my favorite places on the internet, yourwowmoney.com, and the Your Wow Money podcast. But I think that brings us to a point where I'm going to play a little sounder here that's going to tell us it's time for shout-outs. And now it's time for shout-outs.
All right, yeah, come on. Whoa, I mean, not come on, but yeah.
Yeah. No, before we jump into shout-outs, guys, I got one little thing I got to mention. We did the Central Florida WoW meetup about 2 weekends ago, 1 weekend ago. It was a blast. We had about 30 people there at a German restaurant. It was so much fun that guess what? The sequel is already coming out. March 19th at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. There is Barbarian Brew Fest weekend, and CTR will be invading it. I believe me and my friend Root are talking about maybe getting together and calling this FlizzCon.
Oh no.
We will have some more details. Root and I need to crack open a Barbarian brew ourselves and hammer some things out. But at a bare minimum, we will be meeting at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival March 19th. And we will be, I will have some more details out on that within the next week. So, yeah, FlizzCon 2016. This is Wing 2 of the Convert to Raid Ren Raid season. Wing 1 is open up in Madison, Wisconsin over the summer. I got to go to that last year. Great fun. Jules, Evilani, Midnight Ladra, all sorts of people I'm forgetting, or Sangus. Like, it was a great time. And,
Awesome.
yeah, we're going to have a good time at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. But outside of that, Joe, do you have any shout-outs?
Well, I got to give a shout out to my crew. They're running with Lady Hava, of course, and Dead Greed. You got to give a shout out to Dead Greed, or else he'd never let me hear the end of it. But to those guys for running in Diablo is just awesome. Slavanus for doing little Heroes of the Storm. Sal, gotta love Sal, of course. And to you for having me on the game case.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
Well, for me, first and foremost, I'm just going to throw it right back at you, Joe. Thank you for staying up late, for taking a day off work. I mean, this is late for everybody. I know it's late for you. I really and truly appreciate your presence, your knowledge.
Not a problem.
And outside of that, I appreciate your friendship, man. We've been having a lot of fun together here lately. So
Good.
so
Pretty
thank
good.
you. Also, while I'm at it, while I'm thanking the Your Wow Money crew, thank you to Lady Hava, thank you to Reckles, and thank you to I'm gonna try this. Thank you to your boy Dead Greed for all the
He's gonna love that.
for all the great knowledge that you guys like. Really, I would be broken and like rubbing 2 coppers together if it wasn't for your Wow Money. Might not be that bad, but you guys have definitely helped me out a lot, and I really appreciate what it is that you do, guys. If you don't listen to their podcast, go listen to it. It's awesome. It's great. It's wonderful. It'll make you gold. Outside of that, I would be remiss if I did not mention one of the folks in the chat room, Mr. Squinty. Squinty and I had lunch this week. Squinty threatened me that he had something in the back of his car for me. He said that it was a joke, and then I would probably throw it away. Then he warned me that it was 4 feet tall. So I, of course, assumed it was a gnome. It was not. It was actually a cardboard standee from Warlords of Draenor. Squinty knew that this was my very first expansion. He happened to be out at a local video game store. They had it sitting in a corner. Like he asked them about it. They were like, I don't know. We don't even sell this thing. And he picked it up. He brought this. He thought that I was going to get rid of it. And I love it. It's going to go on the wall, like in my office. I have a Miss Standy too that I picked up because Panda. So now I guess I got to go find the ones from the earlier expansions because I'm getting a collection. But Warlords is really special to me, and getting to spend time with Squinty is great. Outside of that, Rubber Chicken Coalition, Bacon and Keg, Sal, Bell, all the people. Sal celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday.
To the lovely Summer Sal. And now that is going to bring me to the part of the show where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead and I ask you to go leave me one of those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. So now remember, if you would like to leave a 5-star review, if you enjoy what you heard tonight, the name of the show is The Game Case Show. Now, if you didn't like this show, the name of the show is Fancy Feet the Podcast, all about dancing on mailboxes for money in Stormwind and Ironforge. It's a horrible podcast. You shouldn't listen to that one.
Yeah.
But if you liked it, 5 stars for The Game Case. And I do actually have a 5-star review to read out this week. And that actually comes from somebody that I just got done shouting out, Mr. Squinty. And his review is entitled, And Now for the Meat and Potatoes. Cuddles is a great podcaster, and he always has entertaining guests. Among all the Reddit posts, salty podcasts, and people screaming for balance changes, he's a refreshing voice of fun and a community cornerstone. Squinty, thank you so much for that, sir. I appreciate it. Don't know if I deserve it, but gosh darn it, I appreciate it. So, Joe, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I am mainly on Twitter at Joe Brums, or you can find the show at Your Wild Money on Twitter. And like what we said, show records every Sunday now at 1 p.m. Eastern on Alpha Geek Radio Channel 2. And we invite all wild podcasts to Alpha Geek Radio, please. And, of course, on bumblebeenet.com/live at around 12:30 for the pre-show. And that's where I can be found. Where can we find you, Sir Cuddles?
Oh, you can find me in all sorts of places. But before I do that thing, I do want to say, guys, if you can catch him live on either Bumblebee or on Twitch, they always tend to, like, after the show, they'll go and like have a little pep battle or like before, like you guys have, like, you don't just sit around and like chit chat. You guys go out and have fun, like before and after the show. Like that's one thing that I've always, and you can, are you still throwing up WoW, like from where you're standing, generally by an auction house? Are you still doing that for the stream? Because I know I've come and stood behind you a few times and jumped up and down.
Yeah. You and some other people, of course.
Oh yeah.
I know of one. But we haven't done that as of late because of my own audio issues. But I think we got that kind of sort of fixed. So we might be doing something maybe a little bit different. Maybe what we're currently doing.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you what. No matter what's going on, these guys are having fun, and it's a great podcast to watch. So go check it out. And that is going to do it tonight for episode 31. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, like Squinty, Barf, Root, Erlina, Tiber, Marissa, and I'm sure other people. I'm sorry, the chat window is broke. Thanks, Twitch. You can join us in the chat room at twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every Thursday night. Now, guys, I know that this show, if you're listening on the download, there was a lot of stuff that we talked about that was visual. So listen to this next little bit because I'm going to show you where to go find the video. Thanks for listening to episode 41 of The Game Case. You can find me on Twitter at Mullet863. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. And you can download us on iTunes and Stitcher. You can catch recordings of the live show or our tips, tricks, and kill videos at youtube.com/thegamecase. Or guess what? You can find all of the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. So that's going to do it for tonight. Joe, say bye.
Bye, guys.
Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.
World of the Warcraft.